Okay, so what we're going to work on now is we're just going to work on kind of finishing this up and adding in some bells and whistles to make our app look decent. So we're going to be just positioning our input and our buttons and then the canvas as well. So one thing that we might want to do is there are a couple options for working with the canvas. So let's take a look at some of those options from P5.js. All right, so we'll take a look at the create canvas window size, window height. It's called once every time the browser window is resized. Okay, so this is a good one for us to use. So we can try window width, window height here, instead of doing our create canvas at an exact size. So create canvas window width, window height. Okay, and our canvas will be the size of the actual browser. Okay, so if we refresh, it'll be the size of the browser. Now, if I call this, what's going to happen is that it's still going to be on top of the canvas because what we need to do is we just need to sort of position where we're passing these images into. So if you remember, we're passing these images inside of the actual canvas as children, so we can use some positioning on them in the CSS. So if we head over to CSS, okay, and let's just target the, oops, I'll just gonna copy and paste this. Let's target the input canvas and let's say it's position absolute. And then we can give it a top, which will go from the top left corner of the browser. So it'll go from this corner, okay? Oops, I'm gonna go back here. Let's just say like 10 VW. VW is a scalable unit I like to use. It's called viewport width, kind of like a percentage. And then we'll do left, we'll do about the same. Okay, so now when I call this, it will be on top of the canvas. And then if I do the same to party, so let's say we want the party one to kind of go over here. Oops, I want this. All right, so the button canvas, again, which is this button here. We'll give it about the same properties and values, right? This is the property, this is the value. But maybe we'll just move this one over a little bit. Maybe we'll say it's left like 50 VW. Okay. Cute. All right. So now let's design this a little more. So we can use the scalable unit if you'd like to, but I actually think I'm just going to give it a specific size and just put it like right in the center of my screen. So I'm just going to give it a smaller size. Let's say like 600 by 600. Okay. And then I'm going to center this canvas here. All right, so I'm going to center this because again, that's where I'm passing this create canvas into. So I'll go to the CSS and I will call canvas. Okay, and we should be able to give it a margin 0 auto. And that should allow us to center our canvas. But CSS isn't always the most friendly. All right, so I'm going to use the web inspector to find that canvas. All right, margin 0 auto. We try a couple other things. All right, yeah, so we'll do a text align center to just sort of fake it into the center. All right, so we'll use that, especially since we're just using one thing. That'll be fine to do for the time being. Okay, and then what we're going to do is I'm actually going to move this enter button below my canvas. So I'm going to move this underneath my canvas, like so. All right. Okay, and let me close this so I can see what I'm doing. All right, so now what I want to do is I'm going to center these options. I'm going to make this input button look a little different. I'm sorry, the input tab here. Okay, so I'm again going to use a web inspector. Again, I'm just control clicking on here and doing inspect. And then I want to work with this input, and I can put CSS for it here. All right, so I maybe want to do a width, and we'll leave the button for this one as is here. I want to do a width of, let's say, 20 VW, and let's also give it a height of 3 VW, so make it a little bigger. And I'm going to give it a margin of or maybe we could also try that. Nope. Okay. So we'll just give it a margin, move it over. Let me see something here. If we put a width 100 VW, let's try that. Okay, I'm going to put a width in the body of 100 VW, and then I'm going to try that. I'm going to grab the user input 1, which is the input, and that needs to have a hashtag. And I'll try the margin 0 auto on that, see if I can get that to validate. Okay, so now that we have this centered, let's work on centering the input, and let's work on styling it so that it kind of looks like the rest of our page. So I'm going to use the web inspector. I'm just going to do a control click on the input, and then I'm going to you can just use this element style, or if you've put a CSS selector in your CSS sheet already, then you could use this one here. But I'm going to do some margin, and the margin shorthand is top, right, bottom, left. So top, right, bottom, left. I want to use left, and I'll say like 10 VW. Okay, so I'm going to move this over here, and I'm also going to so I'm going to target a certain size screen for this. So I'm going to say, yeah, so I'm going to say desktop 2, and I'm going to give this a border of let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to give it a border, and I'll give it a 2 pixel border, and I'll say it's going to be solid, and it's going to be blue. All right, and then I will also give it a height. Let's say 3 VW, maybe a little smaller. So that's 2 VW. 1 VW, let's say 1.5. 1.75. Yeah, that looks good. And then I'm gonna make it a little wider. So width, yeah, that seems cute. 25. Okay, so I'll copy and paste all of this into that selector, so the user input 1 selector here. Okay, and then I'm going to just work on that margin. So I'm going to move it over, and I'm just targeting this one size screen. Normally we would do, you know, like multi screens with some media queries, but we're just going to target this one size for now. So I'm going to move this over so that it kind of aligns in the center here. Okay, and then I'm also going to give it some margin on the top and the bottom. So I'll give it some margin here, let's say like 5 VW, and then maybe on the bottom of it, so that's the top, the right, the bottom, let's say like 2 VW. Oops. Okay, cool. And let's just decrease that space on the top just a tiny bit. Yeah, cute. All right, so we'll leave it there for now. I mean, also, you know, if you want to, we can give it a bigger width, right? And decrease the margin a little bit over here. We can kind of like just line it up. Yeah, that's kind of cute. I don't know, whatever you want. I'll leave that up to y'all. Okay, and then I'll switch back, and I'm going to put that in the user input 1 selector there. Okay, so our buttons are being styled by this button here, and I'm just declaring the button, the actual button element tag there. And that's why that style is applying to both buttons. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually target the user input submit ID. And I'm going to put this by the button because it's just another version of a button. Okay, so again, this style, because it's just declaring the button tag, will apply to anything with the button tag. This style will only apply to anything with this user input submit. So I'm gonna just say, I'm just gonna make some small changes, okay? So I'm gonna say the background, let's say the background is gonna be blue. And then let's also say that the border can be white. Or I don't know, let's make it red. Let's make it a little different. And we're also gonna make it have a greater width. So I'm going to give it a width of maybe like 30 VW. And then maybe we want to change the height as well. So let's take a look at this, and then we'll use the web inspector to kind of do the rest. Okay, so there's my button. My color, obviously right now, is also my color of the text, which is this color here, is blue. So I want to change that to white just so we can see what's happening. All right, and great. And actually, what we want to do here is whoops, y'all, I messed this up. We want this button to go up here because I want the party button at the bottom. I want this button to go up here, and I want this button alone to go down here, right? Maybe y'all noticed that mistake I was doing. So I'll just replace this button alone with the, so before I was using user input submit. For my new button, I'm going to replace that with the button alone. Okay? All right, there we go. So we got to enter and we got a party down here. All right, so let's just move this over. So I'm going to change the height a little bit as well. So there's just a couple things I'm going to do. I'm going to give it some margin, and the margin that I used for the input kind of use about the same. So I want to go here. All right. And the top, maybe I want to do like 1 VW away from the canvas. Bottom, I don't need to worry about. And then we'll leave the left the same because it'll probably be about the same in terms of just like how far we're going to move it over from the left. Okay, and then let's again just use our web inspector. So I'm going to find that, and I'm going to increase the width. Okay, and then I'll also, so it's going to be 44, and then maybe we want the height to be like 2 VW. maybe 3 VW. Okay, so I'm just going to copy these two over to the user input 1. So, nope, I was looking for, what did I want? What am I doing? The button alone, my bad, y'all. So width of 44 and a height of 3. And then I'm also just going to go back to the script page, and I'm just going to make the height, I'm just going to make this like 550. So I just have like a little more room on the bottom of my page. Okay, we're cute. And then maybe, I don't know, just because we're here, let's do it right. Let's just add maybe 1 or 2 more on the button alone. Let's tab this in, keep it tidy. Do that here as well. So let's say do the margin top, let's just do like 2 VW, because again, the margin top is the space between these two elements. Okay, great. So that looks pretty good, I think. So let's try it. Let's put our input in here. Pony. Okay, and then party. All right, and so the way that we've aligned these, right, we've aligned them, so we probably want to just move them over a little bit. And we're going to add like a couple other cute things here. So let's head back here, and we're going to work on the input canvas and the button canvas. So let's just give it a bit more positioning. So the top is 10 and the left is, let's say, like 30 VW. And then if you want to change the size of the image, the way that you need to do that is say input canvas space IMG. And then you can give it a width. And let's just say like 10 VW. Okay. So it'll make the images smaller, but you have to do it where you're selecting specifically the images inside of this tag. Otherwise it won't work. Okay, and then let's do the same thing here. So we have top 20, let's do like top 15, and left, let's do like 60. And then we can maybe do this one, the size of this one here, IMG, whoops. Let's say that's gonna be like, we'll make that one a little smaller. We'll say like 8 VW. But you can use pixels too there if you'd like, if you're more comfortable with that. Okay, so let's try it out again. So let's say horse. Okay, so there's our little weird horse, and then let's call party. Cute. All right, and then so if you want, you can duplicate these. You know, maybe for instance we want this one to be like, oops, wrong one here. Maybe we actually want this one to be like really big, and maybe we want it to go, you know, down quite a bit. Let's say like 30, and we'll say like 75. All right, so we have button canvas. Just checking that that's right. All right, and then let's just take a look at this canvas. So I'm going to look at this button canvas, and okay, so some other things that we can do here is, yeah, maybe we want these to just come in as the image size that they are, just showing you some options. But we can also do some fun things with like transform. We could do like a rotate, and we can say like rotate it 45 degrees. And then maybe for the other one, the stuff that's going to the button canvas, we can rotate it like -45. So some more fun things will happen here. So let's say goat. cute, and then party. Cool. All right, so you have some options there. One other thing I'll show you just to kind of like wrap this up is let's just like call a real quick animation here. So we'll just say at keyframes, call it spin, call it a name, a block. We'll do a 0% and a block, and then a 100% and a block. Okay, and we'll just say we're going to do this rotate in here. We'll say transform, let's start with 0 degrees, and then at the end let's do 360. All right, so we've made this animation. Now we call it where we want it to play. So we'll say animation, we'll say the name of the animation, how long you want it to last for, so let's say like 3 seconds, how many times you want it to run for, we'll say infinite, and then I'm going to do this alternate as well, because then it'll go from 0 to 100 and the 100 back to 0. Alternate. Yes. Like the boomerang effect. Cool. So we'll call that on there and just show y'all some more fun things that can happen. Let's do goat again. That was cute. And now we have this little animating goat. Okay, and then if we want, we can actually add that in to the other one as well. So the button canvas, again, where that party image is going into here. I'm sorry, this one. Save that. Okay, so now when we submit here, should have 2 just that are rotating. Pretty cute, right?